For h of x equals 4x minus 6 over 2x plus 2, we first want to find the y and x intercepts. The y-intercept happens when x is equal to 0, so it would be 4 times 0 minus 6 over 2 times 0 plus 2. That'll simplify to negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. That's our y-intercept. To find out the x-intercept, we let y equal 0, so the y-coordinate is h of x equals 4 minus 6 over 2x plus 2. Multiplying by the denominator, I have 0 is equal to 4x minus 6. So we'll add 6 and divide by 4 to find out what x is. That simplifies down to 3 halves. So my x-intercept is at 3 halves, or 1.5. Next, we want to identify the domain. The domain is going to be all values such that the denominator, 2x plus 2, does not equal 0. So, 2x does not equal negative 2, and x does not equal negative 1. That's our domain. That's directly related to the vertical asymptote. Since x cannot equal negative 1, the vertical asymptote is going to be the vertical line x equals negative 1. In order to identify the horizontal asymptote, we go to the first term of the numerator and the denominator and take a closer look at y equals 4x over 2x. Simplifying this fraction, the x's cancel, 4 divided by 2, this means that y is equal to 2. So as x approaches infinity, y is going to be 2, and that's going to be our horizontal asymptote. The last thing is to evaluate h at negative 2, so that just means plugging negative 2 in. We have 4 times negative 2 minus 6 over 2 times negative 2 plus 2. Negative 8 plus 6 is negative 14, and negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. That will simplify to positive 7. Now let's use all this information to come up with a good sketch of the graph of h of x. First of all, I have a y-intercept at negative 3. So on the y-axis, I'll find the point negative 3. The x-intercept is 3 halves. So on the x-axis, I need to put a point at 1.5. Vertical asymptote is at x equals negative 1. So on the x-axis, I'm going to find negative 1 and draw a vertical asymptote. Similarly, for the horizontal asymptote, being at y equals 2, on the y-axis, I'm going to find 2 and draw my horizontal asymptote. So far, I do have a good idea of what one branch looks like. On this bottom part, my curve has to go through my 2 intercepts and then get closer to my asymptotes. But that's why we need h of negative 2. That's at 7, so when the x-coordinate is negative 2, my y-coordinate is way up at 7. And now my graph is going to have to go through that point and get closer to each of my asymptotes. And there's our nice curve for the sketch of h of x.